to Badri and his team for giving me this opportunity to share my experience on NAAC accreditation. So I'm presenting now on criteria 6. So this criteria 6 essentially evaluates the institution's governance, leadership, and management. So I have paced the lecture in such a way that I will address the concerns of all the 3 categories that fall in the accreditation board, like the university, affiliated colleges, and the autonomous colleges. So let us just see what is this criteria 6. What does it try to elicit about the institution? It is assessing the practices of governance and management and the role of leadership in steering the policies and practices of the institutions. So, what are the areas that we have to highlight when we are writing the NAAC SSR for this criteria? We should focus on planning the human resources, including the recruitment, service rules, the training that is offered for the faculty and for the non-teaching staff, how their performance is appraised, and what are the steps that are taken to keep them motivated, and also the financial management. So in a nutshell, this is what criteria 6 consists of. And essentially, there are also a lot of other criteria which should have addressed segments of these components that I am talking about. So when we are going to represent criteria 6, we should try to keep in mind that we have to talk about all these parameters relating to the governance and management and the role of leadership in steering the particular institution. Whatever institution it is a university or it is an autonomous college or an affiliated college. So now if you look at the various key indicators that are provided, essentially they are the same for all the categories, the universities, affiliated colleges, and the autonomous colleges, though there is some change in the evaluation level at the sub-criteria, which I will discuss as we move on into the lecture. So the key indicators that are used to evaluate this criteria are the institution vision and leadership, the strategic plan that is made by the institution for the development, and how we are deploying this plan for the benefit of the institution, and how this institution has progressed beneficially because of this strategic plan. That is the next key indicator. And what are the facilities or what are the strategies that are adopted by this particular management or the leadership to ensure that there is proper growth, a proper healthy growth culture within the institution. So this segment talks not only about the teaching faculty, but it also addresses the improvement for the non-teaching faculty. And then how the resources are mobilized and what is the structure in which the finances are managed. That is another segment which will be evaluated. And then how is the internal quality assured within the institution? What are the steps? What is the role of a body that is set up to assess this quality assurance? How periodically they give inputs and how these inputs are evaluated. So these are the 3 criteria which we are going to look into for evaluation or scoring in criteria 6. So like I already told you the key indicators, we will look at the weightages that are awarded. So now you can see that the weightages are spread uniformly. There is not there is no difference for university or autonomous colleges and affiliated colleges. So you can see that there is a major chunk of score weightage allotted for the faculty empowerment strategy and the internal quality assurance within this particular criteria 6. So now you can see that there are 5 sub-criteria which will be used to assess the institution's capacity for leadership, governance, and management. And if you look at the categories falling into these key indicators, nearly 60% of these indicators are qualitative in nature. So meaning that we have to showcase or describe the capacity of our institution as a qualitative metric, and 40% falls in the quantitative category. So the first key indicator is the institutional vision and leadership. So here we have to showcase how effective the leadership is, how much is allowed for the participative decision making process. This is very important. This is what they are looking at. How is the decentralization happening within the organization, and how are the different segments of the institution and the stakeholders allowed to participate in the decision making process. And this should not be a standalone. This should be tied with the vision and mission of the institution. So when we are talking about the leadership, or when we are talking about participative decision making process, they should not be separate processes, but they should link with the vision and mission of that particular institution. So essentially, this is to have a healthy organizational culture within the institution to promote positive growth, not only for the students, but also for people who are a part of this institution, including the stakeholders and employers. So now there might be formal arrangements and there can be informal arrangements, and there has to be some coordination both for the academic and the administrative planning arena. So now how these arrangements are implemented is what is being assessed. And when we are trying to look at this academic and administrative planning and the implementation of the arrangements, it should always again tie back to the vision and mission of the institution. This is very, very important. So that is exactly what we are trying to reflect in this key criteria, key indicator 6.1. So now this is a qualitative metric. So here we have a weightage of 10 marks, and all these are write-ups that are limited to 500 words. So for the university, there are two categories here. First one is to write about their decentralization and participative management that has happened in this 5-year period where we are going for the accreditation. So what should we focus on? So we should focus on the academic part, administrative part, finance, and the outreach part. So it should not be for any one segment. It is aiming at the overall development of this institution and how decentralization and participative management has helped in the development. So I would like to give one example here for the academic part. So now if you look at the academic section, usually the faculty involved, faculty who are handling the subject or who are experts in the subject, they will set the syllabus, taking into account the feedback from stakeholders and also from the students. In Shastra, we have a practice of having a curriculum development workshop. This workshop is for the faculty who are handling various subjects with the dean, and also the final outgoing batch of this particular year. So when they have completed 8 semesters, they will have some good input about the practices within the institution, the courses that they have taken, the electives that they have taken. So now their feedback is sorted in a face-to-face meeting. So this way we can identify on a short-term basis as to what is good and what has to be improved. So this brings a picture like students also participating in the syllabus. So now after this committee sets and decides the improvements or the amendments that has to be made for the syllabus, this will be put up to the BOS and then to the ACM. So now what we have here is the participative management. This is done at the school level or the department level. So this also has a taste of the decentralization process, and this syllabus tells how good we are at the decentralization and participative management. So this is one example. Now, for the next example I would like to give you is about the finance. So in when you are every lab will have a budget. So at the start of every academic year, we have a certain need for the laboratories, or we have certain needs for the department. So this will be made by the individual faculty, and this will be assessed by the experts within the department, see what is necessary and what can be avoided or what more improvements can be done. It is vetted by the dean, and then it is moved on to the next level at the institution, wherein it is approved and sanctioned, and we get the we get the requirement. So this is again an example of the participative management. So such things, this kind of things will be there in all the institutions. So essentially what we need when we are addressing this particular criteria is that we should understand how our institution is progressing within its set policies and practices. So what we can do is simple things that is happening in the institution also can be turned to our benefit in terms of decentralization and participative management. So we have to understand what is happening and we should elicit the best practices to be put up in this criteria. So the weighted awarded for this is 5 marks. And then the management information system. So when we say management information system, it need not be a complete management information system, because many of the institutions will not have a complete management information system. So it can be for inventorying, maybe for the labs, or maybe for the total stock, or it can be for finance and accounting, or it can be for student information management systems, wherein student hostel allocation, or where they apply for leave, or where they get permission to go for their home from the hostel. These are all standalones. And then HR, like where we apply for our leave, if that is done through a system, then we can also take that into account. So that will all account into partial information management information system. So any one of these, we can say that we have, whenever we say that we have this information system, we should have a link to it, or we should upload suitable proof for that. So that weightage is 5. This is at the university level. Now, if you look at the same criteria for the affiliated colleges and autonomous institutions, so here what they require these autonomous colleges and affiliated colleges to address is how does the governance reflect itself with the mission and vision. So if you look at all NAAC reports prior to 2000, prior to the new regulation, this was the criteria even for the university. So they will state the vision and mission. But when you are stating the vision and mission, you always have to tie it up with the governance, the perspective plan of the institution, and the participation of the stakeholders, including the teachers, in the decision-making process. So this is what is expected to be showcased in this particular criteria. It has the same weightage as that of the university, 5 marks. And then the next criteria here is the effective leadership. So how is the leadership in coordinating this entire process for the benefit of the university? So in essence, this is similar to the 6.1.1 criteria that we discussed for the university. So this also has a weightage of 5. So the next criteria is strategic development and deployment. So if you look at this criteria, there are 2 qualitative metrics and 1 quantitative metrics, and the total weightage that is given for this criteria is 10. Like the previous case, or for all cases in this particular criteria 6, the word limit for all qualitative metrics is 500. So here there are 3 segments. First, how is the functioning of the institutional body? Okay, and then what is the strategic plan? How is it implemented at every level? Okay, and then the implementation of e-governance. This is very, very important, because NAAC places a lot of importance on the implementation of e-governance. Basically, we all know that we are all moving towards a paperless office. So in line with achieving that particular goal, implementation of e-governance becomes very important. So those institutions who are implementing e-governance at various levels will have a better benefit from this particular criteria. So now here, when I say strategy development and deployment, we want to write about the qualitative metrics here, so what should we address? So now at the university level, for quality improvement strategies, we should say what are the practices that we are adopting for curriculum development, for teaching and learning, examination and evaluation, research and development, for developing the physical infrastructure, and do we have any interactions with the industry, the collaborations that we have, and the admission process. So now, when we are saying that, for example, let us take the examination and evaluation. So now what we are looking at here basically is the qualitative improvement that we are going to make. So now I will explain what are the steps that are taken by Shastra for improving this examination and evaluation. So here what we have is a pre-audit of the question paper. So now we all know that we have continuous assessment or end semester examination. There is a pre-audit. So when you have a pre-audit, you can identify if this conforms to the learning outcomes. If not, you have a chance to modify that. And then post auditing of the answer script. So once the exam is over, we have faculty have corrected. There is a post audit to check if there are any discrepancies. Obviously, there will be a range within which it is allowable. If it is more than that, we can rectify that also if we go for post auditing of the answer scripts. Now, there are few subjects which are common across the branches. So in case we are able to club all of these and provide a common course and common evaluation, this will give a very good idea about the issues addressed or the applications of this particular subject for the across the various disciplines. So this is an improvement over the conventional method where one course is taught by one faculty or within one department, which is restricting the knowledge of the students. So essentially, we have to expose the students to a cross-discipline culture. All these are best practices that we are following. I think other institutions also will be following. So all these things we can showcase when we are talking about examination and evaluation. So that is just an example. Similarly, you can also talk about curriculum development, teaching and learning. So all these components will have to be addressed. And most importantly, in this criteria, there has to be a strategic plan and a deployment pattern. And this information should be available on the institution's website. That is very, very important. So for this, they are awarding 3 marks. Now the next one is, we might have a strategy, we might have a plan, we would have deployed. How effectively is this functioning within the institution? So again, this is a qualitative metric. So what are we supposed to address under this particular criteria? So we should address the policies that we have taken, the administrative setup in enabling better results from these policies. How is the appointment made? What are the service rules? And every institution will have specific procedures for any number of activities they are conducting. So what are procedures? How decentralized it is and how participative it is. So we have to write on all those information. And more importantly, we have to create an organogram for the university, meaning that what is the flow of activity, that is who is heading the institution, how is the administrative control, where do the faculty fall, how do the students benefit. So this is the organization structure of the university. So NAAC encourages every institution to put up their organogram to ensure that there is proper understanding within the institution as to the flow of the policies, and the subsequent layers will have to be subsequent layers who will address the concerns of the higher ups. So this is awarded 2 marks. The next category is the implementation of e-governance. So where can we implement this e-governance? NAAC specifies 4 important areas. So if we are able to implement the e-governance in these areas, we will be getting the full score of 5. So they are the administration, finance and accounts, students admission and support, and examination. So if you are going to implement e-governance in this area, if you have all 4, you will be in A, but if you don't have any, you will be in E. So there is also in between any 3, any 2, and any 1. So that is what you will have to pick. So once you say that you have e-governance in certain areas, then we should fill this data template. So what the table that I have shown here. So you can see here, this table is the data template that we have to upload. So now again, the 4 criteria that I have discussed here up top, and we should say in which year it was implemented, who was the vendor along with the contact details, and we should give a link to that particular document or to our website where they can verify the data. So now it is very important that we have this enterprise resource planning document. That is the data that we should show NAAC to say that we have implemented e-governance. And we can take screenshots of the user interfaces and you can upload them as proof for your e-governance. And also, if there are bills or if there are some vendor certificates, we can upload them as additional information. So that was for the university. Essentially, for the autonomous colleges and affiliated college also, we are having a similar setup here. The first one here is the implementation of the strategic plan. Like I discussed in terms of the university, same thing can be followed here also. But here, these colleges have to take into account one strategic plan. See, this is the least requirement. You can focus on one strategic plan, how it has been implemented and how successful it was and how you measure the success. So you can write on that. So one plan is sufficient, but if you have more than one, that is always to your benefit. So here 2 marks are awarded. 6.2.2 and 6.2.3 are same as that of the university. Most importantly, what we have to remember here is that when we say e-governance is implemented in one of the areas or in all the areas, we definitely have to show proof for that in terms of screenshots or the bills of expenditure that we have got from the implementation of the e-governance for the various segments that we have discussed so far. This is very, very important. And also the annual e-governance report will have to be uploaded. If this we are talking about policy here. So what is the institution's policy on e-governance? This also has to be uploaded for verification. So the third key indicator is faculty empowerment strategies. So first, let me talk about at the university level. So here again, we are having 3 sub-criteria. One is a qualitative metric, and 4 sub-criteria. One is a qualitative metric and 3 are quantitative metrics. The total weightage that is awarded for this key indicator is 30. So this is one of the important key indicators that we are talking about. So now the first thing that we have to report here is what is the performance appraisal system? How is the promotion schemes set up? What are the norms and how much time is given? So that information about the upgradement of the faculty and the welfare measures. So welfare measures both for the teaching and the non-teaching faculty. Even this performance appraisals or promotion avenues, all of them should be both for the teaching and for the non-teaching. So there has to be a clearly documented plan on how these will be, how these are within the institution, and you should also show proof of performance appraisal or the welfare measures that have been carried out by the institution. So when we say welfare measures, all of us immediately think about mediclaim, medical insurance that we have or group insurance that the institution provides us, but also some simple things like the casual leave, the earned leave, encashment of the earned leave, the vacation that we are availing, all these are also welfare measures. So what I would like to say here is that there are bigger things, of course, and the small things also count. So all these can also be put up in your welfare measures. So the next one is the institution's support for faculty development in terms of sponsoring them for the workshops, conferences, and also providing the membership fee for some professional bodies. So within the assessment period, you can see this first table here. So here within the assessment period, we should say how many number of faculty have benefited from this particular scheme. So the weightage that is awarded is 10. So now the proof that we have to supply to NAAC is that the year, the name of the teacher, the PAN number of the teacher, and whatever workshop or conference he or she attended. In case it is going to be membership fee, then you should say to which professional body it was you sponsored the faculty, whether it is an annual or it is a life membership. Because if it is an annual membership and the institution is giving this for 3 years, you can account for it 3 times, and then the amount that has been spent in this line. So now this is a quantitative measure, like I told you. So we have to calculate the scores. So we are going to calculate the percentage per year. So this is the ratio between the number of people who have benefited from this scheme. This includes people who have taken support for conferences and workshops, and also whose membership fee has been sponsored by the institution. And the denominator is the total number of full-time teachers in that particular year. So now here you can see that I have addressed this at the annual level. So now, so the number of full-time teachers at that particular year, you turn it into a percentage. Now we have to represent for the total 5-year period. So we can take the percentage per year divided by 5. So you will get the average score. So now, when we are going to say that a few of the teachers have benefited, or more of the teachers have benefited from this, it is very, very important that we show proof for the same. So now, if you look at this, it is very important that you show the bills or relevant documents of membership, and also this money should have flowed from the institution to that particular professional body, or it should have been through some mechanism. It should represent that the institution has taken up this particular financial burden. That is very, very important. So if we do not have proof for that, then there is no point in uploading this particular data, right? So now the next one is how many programs the institute has conducted to upgrade the quality of the teaching and the non-teaching faculty. So this is what sub-criteria 6.3.3 will evaluate. So this has a weightage of 8 marks. So here, all the programs that the institution is conducting can be accounted for. Like it can be a professional development program, like the number of conferences or faculty development programs, or staff, staff seminars that are being conducted. All these things can be brought into this particular stream. When it comes for the non-teaching staff, we see in Shastra we have this habit. At the start of every semester, the lab in charges give a detailed, it's like a workshop where the lab in charges educate the lab assistants on what are the various experiments that will be carried out for that particular semester and what should they be prepared for. So at the end of it, both the lab assistants and the lab is prepared to receive the students. So that kind of training workshops can be put under this category. Also, sometimes there might be some, there might be a new software implemented, and all the office people, like whoever non-teaching staffs who are working in the office will be given a training in this new software. That kind of information also can be put up in this particular segment. Suppose there is a fire safety training for all the people in that particular institute. Then see, now it is mandatory, certain trainings are mandatory. So those trainings we can put up. But more importantly, we should have photos saying that these training happened. This should be geotagged. We should have the attendance list for this particular program. We should tell who convened them. There should be a brochure, or if not a brochure, at least some information on the resource person and proof for this event happening within the institution. So then you can say about the number of participants, the date, the duration in which this particular event happened. Okay, so this is the data that is required by NAAC for verification. Now this again is a quantitative factor. So how do we weight them? So total number of people attending all these particular professional development program or administrative training programs divided by 5 for the total 5 years. Again, I tell you, there has to be adequate proof that should be supplemented as additional upload documents to ensure that we convince NAAC that this has taken place in our particular institution. Okay, so the fourth category is teachers who are attending the professional development program. For universities, this weightage is 8. This is also a quantitative metric. So what kind of professional development program NAAC takes into account? So this can either be online or it can be face-to-face. Any orientation program, refresher program, short-term training programs, faculty development programs. When I say online, we can also take MOOC courses. That is also possible. So all of these can be taken. But minimum, you should have attended it for 1 week. And when you're taking count of this, only one faculty per year, one faculty can be accounted only once. Suppose a faculty in, for example, let us say 2014-15. In 2014-15, a faculty has taken 3 FTPs. You can only account one. That is mandatory. NAAC only wants that. So what is the data template? How do we represent this data to NAAC? So this is the data template where you have the title of the professional development program, the number of teachers who attended, and the date and duration. So now this will be a huge data for an institution. Maybe if we say that even 50% or 40% of the faculty attend such development programs once in a semester, we have a large list. So we should classify it and then it should be provided year-wise. So year-wise, we should arrange this data, one faculty per year, and based on that, we should calculate the score. So total number of teachers who are attending to the total number of full-time teachers in a particular year, expressed as a percentage. So if you want the average percentage, divided by 5. Now, there will be a summary of report provided by IQAC. If that is available, you can upload that. Or certificates. Faculty would have got certificates for that FTP or MOOC course or whatever they have attended. So that we can show as proof. Essentially, all these are same both for the affiliated colleges as well as for the autonomous colleges. The next key indicator is the financial management and resource mobilization. So here there are 2 qualitative metrics and 2 quantitative metrics. The weightage is 20. So what we are going to focus here is what is the flow of funds, how effectively it has been utilized for the growth of the institution. So that is what we are going to address here. So first criteria, which has a weightage of 4, has to briefly describe the mobilization of fund and how optimally you have used these resources, meaning that for a particular resource there can be multiple users, which is for the benefit of the institution. And also it ensures that the fund that is invested in it is being used pretty well. So that is very, very important. So you should outline the mechanism of the fund mobilization. What is the strategy that is adopted to ensure that resources are used optimally, and you should show proof for these resources that are used optimally. For example, the fluid mechanics lab. I'm from civil engineering, so I will just tell you an example from our department. The fluid mechanics lab is used by the mechanical department, by the chemical department, and from the biotechnology department. So like this is an example of multiple users. A single investment on the fluid mechanics lab has been utilized by many users. We have to have proof also for this. Maybe in terms where we have our timetables, the room numbers will be there. We can have geotag photos to show that these people are using our lab. So these should be uploaded as proof for. And then the second sub-criteria is what are the funds that are received from the government for development and maintenance of the infrastructure. So most important thing that we have to keep in mind here is that whatever is already been reported in criteria 3 and 5, we should not take into account here. Okay, so that is very, very important. So all other funds that we receive from the government can be reported here year-wise. You can report the amount in lakhs. When we are saying that we have received a fund from the government and we have utilized it for the development and maintenance of infrastructure in the department, definitely we should upload the annual statement of accounts and how this facility is being used. Details of the funds received in the last 5 years should should be in the template like I have shown you here. You can see this template. This is how it should be. So the next criteria is if we receive funds from any NGOs or individuals or philanthropists, then how do we account that? That can be accounted in 6.4.3. Again, we have to ensure that this 3 and 5 are not this fund here. This should not be accounted in 3 and 5. Multiple reporting should not be there. Same table we can use. Instead of fund received from the government, this will be received from either an NGO or an individual or any kind of philanthropies that are giving us this particular fund. Okay. So the table, the data table that we upload to NAAC will look like this, with the year, the name of the government funding agency or a non-government funding agency, for what purpose the grant is received, how much money is received, and we should provide the link to the audit statements showing that this money has been used for this particular purpose. So the next criteria is the internal and external audit structure within the institution. So for this, we have a weightage of 2. This is a qualitative metric. So what we are supposed to highlight here is the details of the internal external audit. That is, are we doing an internal audit? Are we doing an external audit? Who are our audit agencies? What is the mechanism that we are adopting if there are any discrepancies within this audit? And what is the frequency of these audits? This is what we are supposed to inform NAAC in a nutshell in this particular sub-criteria. So when we say we are adopting all these strategies, obviously we should include proof like statements of internal audits, or there can be some conferences or events that have happened, those event audits. So for each and every data that we have presented within 6.4.4, if we have proof or if we have a consolidated proof, that will have to be uploaded as additional information. So now, how does this criteria manifest itself for affiliated colleges and autonomous colleges? So here we are going to have the, see now I showed you this criteria 6.4.4. So when you look at 6.4.1, it is similar to 6.4.4 of the university. For the university, we had two sub-criteria, 6.4.2 and 6.4.3, to address the money that we get from the government and NGO. But as for the affiliated and autonomous colleges, you have to account the funds that you receive from NGOs, individuals, or philanthropies during any year in 6.4.2. Again, the funds should not be transferred from the own institution or sister institutions or from the institution's trust. And also, if there is going to be a contribution in terms of an equipment or instrument or a software, that you cannot show it here. And institutional strategies for mobilization of funds and how you use them, it is similar to 6.4.1 for the university with a weightage of 6. So we can see here it is slightly rearranged with different weightages. So the last key indicator is quality, internal quality assurance system. Here we have two qualitative metrics and one quantitative metric with a weightage of 30. So this again is one of those areas where NAAC has given more focus. So now the first criteria, see again I would like to tell you that this is also similar to 6.4.4 where there is only a reshuffle. Only the perspective with which you are going to address these criteria varies for the universities, affiliated colleges, and for the autonomous colleges. So the first criteria, 6.5.1, talks about the strategies and processes for quality initiatives within the institution. So we should address the strategies that are adopted, how these strategies are converted into processes to ensure that teaching and learning becomes enhanced after institution of these quality initiatives. We should describe the method and how learning outcomes, that is, see these learning outcomes, I think you would have discussed in the teaching and learning process. So at the end of the, at the end of the course, the student has a take home learning outcomes. So he, whatever is in theory, he is able to take it out as a tangible outcome. Those are your learning outcomes. So the quality improvement will be to ensure that we are realizing these learning outcomes. So now that method and the strategy adopted will have to be described here. How frequently is this quality circle reviewing the process? And you have to illustrate this with minimum 2 practices. It is mandatory. You cannot just say in a nutshell all these happens. So whatever practices you have to strategize them to show the desired output. Okay, so what kind of proof we can show for this? The IQAC activities in reviewing the academic process can be shown as proof here. So then any other information, if you have a strategic plan, if you have tangible results for this particular process, then we can show it in this particular, we can show it as proof for this particular sub-criteria. The second sub-criteria is quality assurance adopted by the institution. This is a quantitative criteria. So now the institution, to enhance its quality, will take part in some kind of ranking, or it will have academic audit, administrative audit, and it will conduct seminars, conferences, workshops, all this on quality, not on technical content. For example, we can have an academic audit. So what will an academic audit do? It will assess the curriculum development, or it will assess the programs, or it will assess the subjects at the department level, and they will give some suggestions. So we should follow them up, and we should show proof for that. That is an academic audit. So institutions can take up that. If you take up that, you can say yes. And conferences, seminars, and workshops conducted for quality. Like for example, here in Shastra, we had a workshop on question paper setting. So this is not technical. This is for all the faculty to enhance their skills on bringing the best from the students. So how can we all set the question paper in the same platform, that is at the same level? Because as faculty members, you will all know that students always have this against us. They will say some faculty are setting it easy, some are tough, and some are good, and some are not so good. So to address that kind of disparity, to put everything on an equal platform, such kind of initiative was taken up by Shastra University to set to conduct a workshop on question paper setting. So now, when you do that, what do? We have parallels to be drawn here, and we are all given some common goals. So every subject and every faculty will be looking at that common goals. So we are avoiding any kind of disparities in this particular question paper setting. We can attempt to do that. So that kind of qualitative conferences, seminars, and workshops can be accounted here. Collaborative quality initiative. So this is a collaborative quality initiative. What Shastra is doing for the autonomous and affiliated colleges under Paramash and Margadarshan, this is a collaborative quality initiative. So if you have such kind of, you can also show this as a collaborative qualitative initiative, because you are collaborating with Shastra to ensure that there is some quality enhancement for your institution. And orientation programs and refresher programs for faculty and students. This will happen in all the institutions. So when we have new faculty, we have an orientation program to tell them about our institution, our practices, and what is expected of them. So that can be accounted for here. If the institution is participating in NARF kind of ranking system, or any other ranking system at the national and the international level, we can account for that. If you have an ISO certification, then you can show it here. So based on this, we will be graded. So this is the data sheet for the criteria 6.5.2. So this is the data sheet that we have to submit to NAAC, which will have the year in which this activity was done. It can either be conference, seminars, a workshop on quality. Always quality, that is the keyword here, because everything else I think will be put up in technical part will be accounted for in criteria 3. And academic administrative audit, it is not, see, you can have academic audit or administrative audit, but it is mandatory that you should show the follow-up. Only then you can say yes to this criteria. Participation in the NIRF along with the status, so you will have proof for that, the certificates or the whatever rank list comes from that MHRD, you can show it here. ISO certification with the number, the validity period. Similarly, the certification for NBA and proof for collaborative initiatives on quality and proof for orientation programs will have to be uploaded in case we are listing them under this particular table. So then, so this is what I told you. Always we have to give copies of the accreditations and certificates that we have received, which is mandatory. And we should upload our annual report, which will contain all these information. That is also mandatory. So all these information will have to be available in our website. It should be a transparent attempt wherein we showcase what our institution has done on improving the quality, on continuous improvement of quality. That is very, very important. It is not about a one-time measure, on continuous quality improvement. So the next criteria here is the pre, post and NAAC, pre and post NAAC initiatives. So suppose an institution is going for the first cycle, you cannot write about post NAAC initiatives. So what you do is, in the previous 5 years, whatever initiatives you have taken to improve quality, you can write on that. And then whatever improvements that you are planning for the whatever improvements that have helped you to achieve to NAAC also, you can report. And if you are in the second or the subsequent cycles after the NAAC visit, what have you done to improve on the quality? What is the follow-up action for the NAAC comments? That is what we are supposed to write here. So we should cover both academic and administrative domains for the entire 5-year period. We should show proof for that. So when it comes to the affiliated and autonomous colleges, essentially they are the same. Just the numbers have been changed. For example, if you look at 6.5.1, it is similar to 6.5.3 for the university. For autonomous college, it is under number 6.5.2. Now, if you look at 6.5.2, it is same as 6.5.3 for the university. So, essentially, we will address the same concerns, but in different sub-criteria. So, that's it. I am now open for questions.
Sure. Thank you very much, Dr. Sujata, for very nicely presenting the thoughts and ideas on the one point.
Thank you, sir.
As usual, and I know all our resource persons are fully equipped, fully charged, and are well informed on the given topic. You people are working for a long time in these initiatives, so you are all very thorough and familiar. That is clear in your presentation, in your thought process also.
Thank you.
Let me now open the forum for discussion, and now the participants can throw some questions, and I'll also here and there will support. Come on. Any questions on this topic? Participants, kindly unmute and speak. Before you warm up, let me share some thoughts on the given topic. She was mentioning about e-governance. Yes, the whole world is now moving towards a paperless office. People are thinking as to how to do away with this paper business, file sending, that occupies a lot of physical space and also waste of natural resources like papers and other things. So now that we are living in an internet world, in an IT era, so many things are going online now. For example, if you take Shastra, right from the application stage till the time that they get the result, and even this year, now while I was in the lecture was going on, I was addressing my students and corporates about sending digital certificates for completion of the courses. So companies were asking, tomorrow is the last date for submission in Cognizant Technology and TCS for the students who are given job offers. They want students to upload their provisional certificate and cumulative mark statement tomorrow. So my deans were sending mail and I was answering while Dr. Sujata was addressing you. I was working on the another line. I was writing mail to our company saying that kindly on 10th only Shastra is going to send the digital certificate to all our final year students. I asked them to give some more time. So I am saying the whole world is moving towards digital world. And some corporate colleges, the institution of higher education like colleges and university, invariably must think about digitizing our campus. When I say digitizing, as I said now, right from issuing application, downloading of application form, submitting application. This year, because of thanks to Corona, this year, yesterday, we started our counseling process also on digital mode also. So admission allotment of seats started yesterday. The first round of allotment started in Shastra yesterday for first batch of students. So this is also going digital. Our fees payment, even without Corona also, all our students' payments, whether it is a hostel payment or a bus, college bus payment or examination fees or semester fees, everything is online. No cash transactions in the college campus. No money is accepted at the counter. So this is in terms of fees collection, we are making.
Sir, excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, we have 2 questions in the chat window.
Yeah. Come on. Ask the question.
Okay. The first question is if you can use your MOOC certificates. Yes, you can definitely use. See, the minimum period that you have to have online or face-to-face contact is 1 week. So if you are taking a MOOC course for 12 weeks or 8 weeks or 4 weeks, you can definitely use that as a FDP. Yes, that can be done. And the second question, whether you can show the ISO audit documents. So what is this ISO audit documents? Is it administrative audit?
Ma'am, excuse me, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so
that
Mr.
MOOC.
Maharaj is asking if he can show the ISO audit documents by the college team. Is it? I don't think it is academic audit. You can have an internal academic audit on the processes. So if you have a ISO certification, then that is for a particular period of time for your lab facilities, no? So in
ISO, sorry to interrupt, ISO most of the time is for the system.
Yes.
The system in place in your organization. It may not be certifying the quality of teaching and evaluation happening in your campus. Kindly tell me what kind of certification is received for what purpose. Is it academic related? Then if it is academic related, if I am right, can be shown. But may not be this ISO certification, if I am right.
If you have a certificate, ISO certificate for your lab facilities, that you can show in 6.5.3, sir.
Yeah.
I think you are referring to that.
Yeah.
That is, if your lab is ISO certificate, it happens for a period. They give you a ISO number for that also. That you can show it in 6.5.3.
Is there any other questions? So I just used the time to filler for people to ask questions. So to continue my thought process, so in Shastra, admission, attendance, we are posting students' attendance online. Our faculty attendance is happening through the biometric system. Because of COVID, for some time we did a manual. But otherwise, for the last 1 or 2 years, we moved towards the biometric system of why I'm saying e-governance. Dr. Sujata was mentioning about e-governance, how to introduce e-governance into your campus. So biometric attendance for the faculty, applying of leave. Our faculty members can apply leave, even applying, any purchases at Shastra, for example, it is all through online only. Suppose an HOD wants to buy some materials, equipments for his department or a laboratory, then they have to make a request online. There is a standard format is available, which the HOD or the person has to pull it, and it will go to next level officer, say Dean of Planning, and then it will escalate to Vice Chancellor for final approval. Like that, there is a system. So this way, even purchases are now streamlined in our campus with regard to this. Results are published, examination, students under. In Shastra, we have the choice-based credit system, CBCS. So students are allowed to select the courses online. Hostel. Only first year Shastra management allots hostel for the students. From second, third and fourth year in Shastra, students are supposed to select the hostel room only through the online. On a particular date and time, they'll say, for example, August 8th morning, 9 o'clock, hostel room selection will happen. So we will open the thing and students can select which hostel they want, whether they want a double room or a triple room, double occupancy room or a triple occupancy room or a single occupancy room. All those things, choices are given and students have to select in online only. So even hostel room selection, faculty selection, one step further. In Shastra, we are following the faculty selection system also. Students can select, say for example, in computer science there are 4 sections. There are A, B, C, D, 4 sections are there. We will say A section, Dr. Sujata, Dr. Badrinath, Dr. Manjula, Arun Kumar is handling. B section, Dr. Kodadeni, Ramchandran, Sridharan is handling. They will give a list of people handling. Students can select which section they want to join, take it. Because based on the feedback of the seniors or the previous classes handled by the faculty, students have the liberty even to select the faculty members. See, these are all the innovative practices. When you go to NIRF, NAAC and all, these kind of things you can show. We are one way we are using e-governance. We are giving a lot of freedom for students, flexibility to select the teachers, select the courses. All those things are given the academic flexibility. Certain things, no, you may think of. I don't know whether how much it is possible in a self-financing college system. But then, if these things are kindly please note down. The very purpose of this faculty development program, see, whatever my resource persons were saying is all available in the NAAC website. But they are here and there saying what we are doing in our campus also. So you please note down all those good ideas, innovative thoughts shared by the other college members and the faculty. Then you can try to administer, try in your campuses also, you can try. And she was talking again and again about vision and mission. I know many of you may be knowing the meaning as well as its importance also. See, first of all, every individual or a department level, even we have a department level visions. What is the vision of the civil engineering department? What is the vision of my training and placement department at Shastra? For example, I have a vision. I said my vision of a training and placement department is to maximize my annual placement to 90% of my students. I don't want to place 100% students of Shastra in companies or corporates, and I don't want to secure job for 100% students. I want to make only 90% because I want 10% of my students to become entrepreneurs. I want to become a self-employed. Because if I get job for one fellow in a company, only he will get a benefit. If I make him as entrepreneur, he will become an employer. He will give job for another 50, 100 guys. So this is what our department or my vision as a training placement dean or a vision of my department. Similarly, departments must have a vision. The overall university should have, and we must have a vision is the ultimate goal. Say, for example, if we take Shastra University, the vision of Shastra University is to become a world-class university. World-class university. It may take 50 years, it may take 40 years. Maybe in my next generation of my teachers, it may happen. But what is our vision? As Dr. Kalam said, Kalam's vision is to make India as a superpower. He said 2020 he wants to see, but it has not happened. But
excuse me, sir, one more question.
Yeah.
Sorry for the interruption, sir. There is one more question. Sujata ma'am.
Yeah, okay, I'm here. I will answer that. How does institution imply a performance appraisal system? Okay, right. See, now here in Shastra, every year we have a performance appraisal. Our system is a very structured system. So there is a particular form which we fill, which tells us about the achievements or the upgrades that we have done in that particular year, and that is appraised by our associate dean, and then it moves on to the vice chancellor. We have a one-to-one interview with the vice chancellor who appraises our performance, who helps us in setting better goals for the next years. So this is our appraisal system. So this is totally formatted and documented. All these appraisal forms are into our personal file. So it's like a total document that people can refer for decision making when they are looking at promotion or trying to give us some incentives. All these will be in our particular personal file. So that is the system we are following here. And with regard to, yeah, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Non-teaching.
Okay. So like what I would like to stress here is that documentation is very, very important. I think my colleagues in the earlier sessions also stressed on that. So documentation also is very, very important. Same wise at the non-teaching level also there is appraisal. So this appraisal is a little informal. Mostly these appraisal is at the department level, and once in a year or once in 2 years they meet the vice chancellor for to set their goals and to show the management's appreciation or to steer them in the right direction. There is always one-to-one meetings with the management.
And from ma'am, you have one more question there.
Yeah, I'm seeing that, ma'am. Slight clarification on IQA, whether our objective is achieved or not. Can you please rephrase the question? I am finding it a little hard to answer.
Sir, you can unmute and raise.
Balasubramanian.
What is the objective?
Chat box la podunga madam. Dr. Manjula chat box la podunga. Dr. Balasubramanian please call podunga. Please unmute and speak. Dr. Balasubramanian podunga. சில பேர் போட்டு மியூட் பண்ணிடுறாங்க. நம்ம பேசறத அவங்க கேட்கல.
Okay, so I will try to anyway say something on this. See, this quality assessment, assurance, this is a continuous process. It is not like you achieve it or you achieve it not. I already told you the entire criteria is about continuously assessing yourself so that you don't stop somewhere. You keep going. That is the motto of this particular criteria. What are your initiatives that you are constantly taking? So it is not like I have done this, I am done and over with it. It is like, suppose, for example, let us say that you have an internal academic audit for a particular department or for the institution. Then it does not end there. You have to look up into the comments that you have received. You should follow it up, and then maybe you should call for the next audit to show that you have really progressed. So when your next audit is there, definitely they will give you some more improvements. So this is a continuous process. So at every step you're doing improvements, and every step can be documented. It can be shown as proof for your quality improvement. Did I answer your question?
What I understand is saying, okay, we have an internal quality assurance system. We are fixing the targets and metrics here. He says how to assess whether we achieved it or not. For which my answer to add what Dr. Sujata said to Mr. Balasubramanian is, the performance metrics or the targets that you fix must be very clear, achievable, clear, and also understandable targets, so that you can verify. Say, for example, I am saying my aim is to see that 90% of the students are placed every year. So I can very well vouch whether I am able to, whether this year my placement is 87%. So I am 3% below my target. Or suppose I say quality evaluation, whether my examination system is quality or not. That also, we can have an internal academic audit or external audit can be organized. Students feedback system, faculty feedback system, and all these through which we have to confirm whether we achieved our pre-laid down objectives of the systems or not. That is one way you can internally check. Metrics must be clear, metrics must be understandable, it should be auditable and verifiable, your targets.
I would also like to add one thing, like I would like to reinforce what I told in the beginning. So entire process should take you back to your vision, mission and goals. So that is how you come see that is your idea, and you keep progressing towards that. So you should not get disjointed somewhere down the track on achieving a few intermediate goals. So that is very important. So that is what keeps the process like a continuous upgrade system.
Very correct. Nothing should be a one-time affair, not a one bullet point of thing. It's a continuous process, and everywhere we have in management called TQM, total quality management. It is not quality in one aspect. Anything and everything that we do in our campus, whether it's student admission, whether it is an evaluation examination system, whether it's an internal laboratory practical system or faculty recruitment system, promotion system, everything there must be a quality, there must be transparency. Then only it is possible for us to achieve our vision. Organizations many a times fix nice slogans as a vision and they keep it at the entrance of the university or college. But I mean, unfortunately, right from leadership to the lowest level, everybody forget what is our vision of the organization. Many a times, even members of the organization, you ask a faculty in a college, what is the vision of your college? Whether the vision is fixed by the management, if the vision is fixed, whether it is being percolated till the last employee of the organization, you have to verify all those things. It is not enough that you keep it in your board. It is not enough to keep it in your brochure. But everyone should understand, everyone should strive hard to achieve the vision of the organization. Everyone should contribute their might. And vision can be achieved through the mission only. Difference between vision and mission for the non-management teachers, vision is the ultimate goal. Mission is the way to achieve the goal. Another thing, vision, mission, objective, goals are 4 different concepts. But it may look similar, but they are different. I'm a management teacher, I teach MBA students. These things are the things which we teach in our strategic management. These are 4 different concepts. Goals, objectives, vision, mission are 4 different things. Though they are interconnected, but they are little different. They are different in their ideas, concepts. One more question. We are not able to make people to understand the mode of
No, sir. It is my statement, sir.
Your commitment.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Sir, is there any other question or shall we wind up? Audience, participants, do you have any questions? I see the number is dwindling down to 64.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
People have no patience. See, in the Q&A session only many good things can come out. Anyhow, let us not drag it. And so let me thank Dr. Sujata for
Sir, shall I take the privilege to thank Sujata ma'am, sir?
Take it, please.
It gives me an immense pleasure to propose a vote of thanks for today's session. And my special thanks to Sujata ma'am, because we have already came across a number of, opportunity to work together as well as to share our ideas. And on behalf of this Parma team, Sastra, we are proposing a vote of thanks not only